Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into the action-packed world of Roboquest. This FPS roguelite officially emerged from early access on November 7th with consistent updates that have significantly enhanced the game since its initial debut back in 2020 on Steam. The developers are Rise Up Studios, and it is being published by Rise Up Studios and Starbreeze Publishing. So far, they have been consistently providing updates for the game and making good on their promises to the community, which earns them some points right off the bat, given today's gaming market. Currently, the game is available for purchase on Steam or Xbox One and Series X and S for $24.99 USD and is available on Game Pass. In this review, we're going to break down Roboquest's highs and lows in a pros and cons format. Stick around until the end, where I'll deliver my final verdict. Should you pull the trigger on this game, wait for a sale, or leave it on the shelf? If you find this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're already part of the Roboquest community, doing so ensures that YouTube will push this video out to more people, which helps the channel, but it also means that this game will get the recognition that it deserves. Without any further ado, let's hop into it. We'll kick things off with the pros. First up, the gunplay is an absolute standout. The controls are buttery smooth, providing a satisfying and immersive feel. The array of guns is not only diverse, but also genuinely interesting, creating a learning curve that keeps you engaged from the get-go. Initially, the sheer variety of weapons might feel overwhelming, but as you delve deeper, you'll discover the intentional design behind it. We're talking energy weapons, giant chainsaw contraptions, rocket launchers, kunai, bows, snipers, you name it, Roboquest's got it. Recognizing each weapon's strengths and weaknesses becomes a game in itself. Whether you're a running gun enthusiast or a tactical mastermind, Roboquest caters to all playstyles. The movement mechanics take the gunplay to the next level. Sliding and double jumping from the get-go add a dynamic dimension to your actions. Riding railings scattered across the map feels incredible, and the controls are intuitive, making it a breeze to dive in, especially if you're used to FPS games like Doom. The movement is a piece of cake thanks to the intuitive level design. Each area feels meticulously crafted, offering various vantage points, rails, and obstacles to spice up your strategy. While there are a couple of level design choices I'd tweak, overall it's solid, with secrets scattered throughout the map to keep you coming back for more. Now, let's talk about the presentation. Roboquest doesn't just nail the gameplay, it serves up gorgeous cel-shaded graphics, epic graphic novel style cutscenes, and a soundtrack that's an absolute banger. The graphics might channel a Borderlands vibe, but make no mistake, this game has its own style and it nails it. The little details from guns displaying onomatopoeic words to adorable robo buddies with unique designs enhances the overall art direction. And the music, pure EDM magic that not only matches gameplay tempo, but elevates the whole presentation. The entire soundtrack is on Spotify and can be purchased on Steam as well. While Roboquest leans more towards the FPS genre, the roguelite elements are well executed. The base camp upgrades fueled by wrenches collected during runs add a layer of persistence to your progress. These upgrades can enhance your arsenal, boost your HP, or introduce new NPCs with various functionalities. Power cells, another resource you collect, can be used to upgrade weapons or snag power-ups during your runs, or in some instances, even be used to unlock areas. The weapons themselves come with different affixes, adding yet another layer of variety to the gameplay. From simple stat boosts to game-changing mechanics like deploying a shield, these affixes keep each run feeling fresh and unpredictable. Now, let's talk about classes. Currently, there are 6 classes in the game: Guardian, Commando, Ranger, Recon, and Engineer. However, at the start, you'll only have access to Guardian. Each class has a primary ability and a secondary ability. Most of the classes have one movement or utility ability and one offensive ability. The process of unlocking the classes feels natural and satisfying, and they all have different playstyles. So far, my favorite has definitely been Recon, who has a dash and a cyber dagger. Each class has specific perks that you unlock as you level up throughout the runs, making each run feel different and unique. With Recon, I was able to play an assassin build that executed enemies at a certain threshold of health when I hit them with my cyber dagger. This had a starkly different feel and playstyle from playing an explosion build on Commando. I'd love to see the developers add more classes to the game and maybe give newcomers access to one other class at the beginning of the game. Now that I've gushed over all the things that Roboquest does well, let's quickly talk about a few of the things that I think could use some improvement. The first of which is going to be the difficulty level. Now, I'm a pretty seasoned FPS player, and while I don't consider myself to be amazing at FPS games, I don't think I'm a slouch either, but I found the standard difficulty of this game, which is what it recommends playing on, to be quite difficult. Understandably, at the beginning of the game, when you don't know the attack patterns of enemies, or what each of the weapons do, you're of course going to die pretty often. However, even as I learned and increased my skill, I was still hitting rooms, especially the challenge rooms, that would just end my runs because of the sheer amount of enemies and damage that they would do. I do think that the difficulty curve here is pretty steep, and I ended up turning it down a level just because I found myself getting a bit frustrated. After changing the difficulty, I found that most of the game wasn't very challenging at all. I do think that to some degree there should be some balancing done to the difficulty levels just because of the huge discrepancy between them. Something that I did start to notice as I got into later levels and the fights became more and more intense is that my frame rate did have a tendency to bounce around. This isn't too bad, and it definitely isn't super jittery. However, given that the game is based on quick reaction times, you can definitely feel it. During my playtime, I haven't had any major crashes, which is great, and I've spent most of it playing co-op and haven't seen any significant latency problems either. So as far as performance goes, I do think that the game holds up well, with just that one minor complaint. I've heard some people mention that they'd like to see the ability to have up to 4-player co-op, but for my situation that isn't something that I'm very interested in, and on top of that, the game definitely feels like it was intentionally designed for 1 to 2 players. So adding more players would require the developers to change quite a lot in order to make it feel satisfying. That being said, for me, it's not necessarily a negative, only being able to play with one other person, but I just thought I'd mention it since I've seen a few people in the community asking for it. With all of that being said, should you buy Roboquest, wait for a sale, or leave it on the shelf? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. This is definitely an easy recommendation for me if you enjoy FPS games or roguelikes, and without a doubt you should just buy it. Roboquest is an awesome addition to the genre, and I think that it definitely deserves some higher praise and more attention. It's a lot of fun to play with a friend or loved one, and I can't wait to continue on my journey towards 100%ing it. I hope the developers continue to add more content to the game, with potentially different game modes like an endless mode or a wave-based mode, new maps, guns, and classes. If you have found this video useful or entertaining, please be sure to hit that like button so that more people will find this awesome game. Let me know down in the comments if you plan on picking up the game, or if you already have, what's your favorite part so far. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more reviews and gaming news. And now, get out there and destroy some bad bots, and I'll catch you bro bots in the next one. Peace.